G'day, it's Stevic from 12 Ninja here. And look, if you like American football, you should check out Saints Happy Hour podcast. I personally know fuck all about American football, other than it's a bunch of massive blokes wearing spandex, shoulder pads and helmets, running around with throwing a football. In Australia, you don't throw footballs. You punch it or you kick it. And there's no protection. They're all naked. And there's sharks and crocodiles fired out of cannons onto the field, and we all stand around and drink blood watching it. But if American football's your thing, you know what to do. Saints Happy Hour podcast. Stick it in your ear hole.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. The new open, it threw me off. I'm confused. People wonder, like, where does the Patreon money go when you support the show? There it goes. Andrew's buying new ads, new opens from Australian metal guys that he likes. So there you go. We got a great show for you tonight. We are going to talk about Saints players that they should not draft. We are going to do the annual draft of names that I cannot pronounce. We're going to cast the Sean Payton Netflix movie with Kevin James, and we are going to discuss if this is the most boring Saints offseason of our entire fucking lives.
It looks like Dave is using the same hair product as Drew Brees, so
it is.
That's good.
Oh yeah,
Dave decided
real good.
Dave decided that it would be funny to use the ventriloquist dummy that he got his son for his birthday, and the ventriloquist dummy looks like Howdy Doody dressed as George Washington. It's creepy as fuck.
This is Mickey. He's got a name. It's like
Mickey Mouse.
Oh, no. Charlie McCarthy. His name is Charlie McCarthy.
It looks like Bela Lugosi.
Anyway, I'm going to be doing the whole podcast like this.
Oh my god!
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this one.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
Why do I even need that soundbite since Kevin is here?
Kevin's here.
Man, said it, and Kevin's here. If he wants to say
Kevin, please do the original.
Kevin,
Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
Now I'm gonna.
I leave for like 2 weeks. I leave for 2 weeks, and we got Dave's got a goddamn puppet.
This looks like
whoa! I am not a puppet. I am not a puppet. That is an offensive word. I prefer the nomenclature dummy. Thank you.
This is like Chucky, like a vampire version of Chucky.
It is.
Yeah. No, I am putting this thing under like 20 blankets downstairs before I go to bed tonight.
You better lock that. You better get some chains on him and lock him in a box or something. But if you do the whole show with using the ventriloquist dummy, that will continue a long Saints Happy Hour tradition of coming up with a funny bit and then doing it way too long and running it into the ground. So
I mean, that's mostly you. You're the one that really likes to
run shit in the ground.
Keep going to the well.
And I mean, here's the thing.
I mean, if you were doing this ventriloquist bit, this dummy would be around all off season.
Oh, completely. Here's the thing, though, and I'm gonna start here with. We did it on the show for the locker room last week. We did a little bit of it for the patrons, but I want to talk about this because we have Kevin and Dave with us. They're doing a Netflix movie of Sean Payton the year he got suspended, where he coached his son's 8-year-old football team, and it's gonna have Kevin James. It's gonna be an Adam Sandler production. Kevin, we got to cast this movie. This movie, I know it was the topic of all week. It's probably the way the Saints offseason has gone. It's probably the most exciting fucking thing to happen this Saints offseason, besides the fact that Russell Wilson announced that he would play quarterback for the Saints if he got traded there. But I was thinking of, like, who do you cast? And we were talking about Goodell. It's got to be Steve Buscemi, because if you're doing the Adam Sandler movies, right, you got to use the Adam Sandler like world of people, like David Spade and Chris Rock and who's the guy? Rob Schneider. Like you got the roster of Adam Sandler people. So like who in the movie would be Joe Vitt? That was one of the main people. We got to cast. You got to cast Joe Vitt.
David Spade is Joe Vitt.
Get out of here. Oh wait, I forgot to move my mouth. Sorry.
And and we can cast Deuce Bigelow and Bill Vinovich.
Who else do we need to cast?
Who is Greg Williams?
All right. Wait.
Is that the guy that does Shooter McGavin?
I got to, I hate to be the voice of reason here, but I don't think that any of these people are going to appear in the movie. I mean, I think, first of all, I don't know whether they even need to cast anybody as Goodell. They could use the actual NFL footage, I guess. They'd have to get the rights. But I mean,
they got to get Parcells. They got to get Parcells.
Oh, you got to cast.
He's got to call him about how do I stop the wing tee. That's got to be part of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, most of the.
So who's Parcells? Is there an old dude with white hair in any of these?
Brian Dennehy, but he's dead.
Yeah, he
Brian
died.
Dennehy
Also,
died.
an alma mater of my high school, Brian Dennehy.
Good to know that.
No, but like they're not like Greg Williams isn't going to be in this movie. This movie is going to start like during his. I don't even know how much of a comedy this movie is going to be. I know Happy Madison is doing it, Adam Sandler, but I mean, I think this is going to be like a feel-good father-son, story. Kevin.
Oh my God!
But no, I mean, and
it's going to take. It's terrible.
It's going to start with his suspension. I mean, I think they could use actual clips of the NFL of Goodell press conferences and use that in the movie, and they'll start from there. And this whole movie is going to be like Connor Payton and his high school friends. And that kind of stuff, and maybe the one out there thing I was thinking was Peyton divorced by then in 2012?
No.
He was still married.
I believe that's correct. Yeah, he's still.
You got to also cast the other love team.
We could have a love interest.
I was thinking it could be like. It would be like
Leslie Mann play the love interest.
It could be like Little Giants. Kinda. You can't do this movie as
Jason
like a drama.
Champagne in the chat says that Buscemi can play Mike Ornstein. I mean,
Buscemi's got to be in it. Buscemi's got to be.
Mike Ornstein is the answer. That's perfect.
The whole movie is going to be taking place after they're not going to like go into detail about Bountygate.
Listen, by the way, Ralph, if you want to. If you've been clamoring for a fake rumor on Saints Twitter so that the Saints someone could fall to the Saints that we want, and a lot of people in our chat are talking about Shroomgate, that Trevor Lawrence started a magic mushroom farm on the Clemson practice field, and there's rumors he's going to fall to 28.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Yes, I like that.
About that magic.
I like the fact that people were rummaging through Mac Jones's Twitter feed from like 2015, and they found like potentially racist tweets of him. But he's not somebody we want to drop. So I appreciate the effort.
Right.
We need people that we want to drop, not Mac Jones. We want Mac Jones to go 3. We don't want this. We don't want the 49ers to come up with a reason not to take him.
There's no way Trevor Lawrence doesn't do mushrooms on the rag.
Right.
What could Kevin? What could Trevor?
Wait a minute. I'm not.
There's no way.
Thing. Wait, I'm not ready.
Trevor Lawrence. There's no way that mushrooms are not Trevor Lawrence's go-to drug. It's definitely.
There's no way that Adam Sandler is making a movie about Sean Payton, and we are not talking about it for at least half of this show. My God. No, actually, I wanted to be serious for a second because I know that they're going to start filming the movie soon, and I think they're going to be filming at least part of it here in Louisiana because they film a lot of stuff here in Louisiana. We have 2 listeners. One, we have Jim Gleason, who is a legitimate actor.
Get him.
He is professional. He is good. He knows what he's doing. He was recently in a Disney series.
So
right. if anybody is out there, if anybody's listening right now, I'm thinking Jim could play like
The villain of the opposing team.
No! Don't do that to Jim. No. Jim could play. Jim could play like the principal of Connor Payton's school or something. And like at the start of the movie, he's not happy about Sean Payton coaching the team or something like that, or Connor's grades are slipping and he's not doing well. But then during the football season, he gets his act together and everything. Obviously everything's going to have a silver lining. So anyway, if anybody's listening to our podcast who has anything to do with the production of this movie, contact us. You need to be contacting Jim Gleason. And then I also want to put out there my buddy Jim Nickus, who is also in the industry. He's in the Directors Guild. He's now a producer. He's a director. He's been associate director. He's worked on tons of television: Mysteries of Laura, Manifest, Elementary, SVU. He's been on Sopranos. He wants to get on this project too. So
all shows Dave has never seen.
Yeah, no, I never watched any of those shows. He's doing one right now. They're finishing up one now on Showtime, a comedy called Flatbush Misdemeanors that he has producing credits on, actually. But anyway, and they're big Saints fans. They want to get on this movie. I know they want to get on this movie. If anybody can make that happen, let's talk.
Well, Jim Gleason's a great call. I'd love to see him on there. He was at our live show.
Yeah,
he was. He was at our live show. He's a patron. He's amazing. We need to get him more. This Sean Payton.
Yeah, Kevin, feel free to mute yourself if you're gonna banging away at the keyboard like that.
Writing love letters to his girl to the doctor.
Are we sure that's not a drum machine he's hitting?
Here's the thing. The Saints don't have many movies made about them. So it has a very, very low bar to cross to be the greatest.
Do they have one?
Yes.
Yeah, they have number one with Charlton Heston.
Oh yeah, number one.
Which, by the way, I found out that you can watch the movie with Charlton Heston, number one, through some streaming service. And you don't even have to create an account. You just go to their website. I bookmarked the page. We are going to have a summer watch party where we are going to watch number one with Charlton Heston from 1969. And that movie is fucking an abomination. And it is so bad. But we are going to all watch it together.
I don't even know anything about it. Can you tell me the nuts and bolts?
Quick synopsis. Charlton Heston is an aging veteran quarterback for the Saints, and he wants to win another world championship before he retires. And he womanizes and loses his wife, and his body is falling apart. And that's the storyline of it. And of course, it's complete utter fucking. Yeah, and he plays for the Saints.
Oh, this is the dude from the Ten Commandments.
Yeah, it's Charlton Heston. It's like, I mean, like in the 60s, like he's a pretty
Planet of the Apes.
Planet of the Apes.
So does he win? Does he pull it off?
Well, I don't mean to. I guess I could do spoiler. No, he dies at the end. He gets sacked
and dies
during
the course of
during the game.
That sounds very Saintsy, actually. That sounds incredibly realistic. Are you sure this was not? Are you sure this was fiction?
It was. It is. We'll be watching it. Kevin, you have thoughts?
There's no way that didn't happen. There's no way the Saints.
I bet Kevin's got some really good thoughts on this.
There's no way that a quarterback for the Saints in the late 60s didn't die on the field. That absolutely happened.
No, Kevin, you're muted now. We didn't hear what you said. You can't chew gum and walk at the same time.
It's fine. Just keep yourself muted.
Yeah.
It sounds like the Ted Gregory story.
Yeah.
It's like Ted Gregory, but for quarterbacks. And we're gonna have a watch party for that. And the thing is, I made the jokes, and people in the Saints Happy Hour in Twitter, they're like, that movie is neither a football movie nor a good movie. I'm like, no shit. Like, it's from the 60s, and you can't even. They didn't even. I had to read the Wikipedia page on it. They didn't even release it on DVD until like 2017. Like, it is a terrible movie. That is why we will have a watch party, and we will have Charlton Heston jokes. It's got Bruce Dern in it.
Alan said that there's NFL footage for the football scene. So you go from shots of Billy Kilmer, the actual quarterback of the Saints, to Heston, which is interesting.
And when I say to you, Charlton Heston, he looks like if you put me in a Saints uniform and had me throwing passes. Like, he is fucking terrible.
That's the character. He's supposed to be old and washed up.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you got to at least look functional, you know?
Do you?
Yeah, there's
Have
a lot
you seen the Saints quarterbacks?
From the 60s, I did not, but I know they're awful. Thomas is putting up the thing. That was another fun thing, Andrew, about the announcing of the Sean Payton movie. Atlanta jumped in the timeline and started bagging on Sean Payton and bagging on the Saints, and the Saints just dropped the King of Beating Atlanta bomb on the Falcons Twitter feed. So the Falcons got owned on Twitter once again.
It's just too easy. It's too easy.
I just don't.
It's a day that ends in Y.
I just don't understand why they keep poking the bear. Like,
I don't think they think of it. They don't. It's not. They don't even think of it.
But when you go 4-12 or whatever they were this past season, and you're picking 4th in the NFL draft, and you just got swept, like, maybe that's the time, if you're the Falcons, to just kind of lay low. They're not trash.
Yeah. It takes a petty mind to know what another petty mind is going to say and do, and they just don't have it. And so when they put stuff out there, they have no idea how petty the Saints can be, and they're going to come back and.
I just feel like if the Saints were to go 3-13, get swept by the Falcons, like, I'd probably take a year off talking trash.
You can't.
You can't take a year off.
Well, they weren't that, but that's the thing. They weren't
able
to
do that.
They weren't like directly talking trash about the Saints. They were really just highlighting a kick return.
Yeah.
It really wasn't Saints specific necessarily,
but fuck them. I hate them.
Well,
and
I'll always have the Matt Ryan in a bra. I'll always have that.
But then we talked about the Sean Payton movie. The only thing that would have made that worse, Dave, is if the ventriloquist dummy would have been singing it.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Thanks for planting that seed.
I want to get back to, they said that Trevor Lawrence he's got a shroom farm somewhere in South Carolina. Short of murder, Andrew, and going like Lyle Collins adjacent, what would Trevor Lawrence have to do to not be picked number 1? Is it possible?
Or Laramie Tunsil. Don't forget Laramie Tunsil.
Oh yeah. But Laramie Tunsil was an offensive lineman. He wasn't a franchise-changing quarterback. If Laramie Tunsil would have been Trevor Lawrence, he'd have been picked number 1. Like, they would have overlooked that gas mask shit, I think.
Do you think he would still go number 1 if he tweeted Blue Lives Matter?
Ooh.
No. No.
Nah.
I shouldn't laugh, but that would really make me laugh.
That would be that.
Like, how to nuke your career before it gets started 101.
Yeah.
That's the worst joke I've ever heard. Now we got it. Okay, that wasn't me. That was a soundbite. That was a soundbite. That was not me. I mean, his career should be nuked for 2 reasons. One, because he shouldn't say that. Obviously, you don't have your finger on the pulse of modern day culture. And 2, you're obviously too stupid, and you're surrounded by
shrooms.
People who
you're
are
surrounded
too
by
stupid.
Shrooms.
Maybe you're just too high on the shrooms, and you're just putting stuff out there on Twitter, man, that you shouldn't be putting out there. But no, seriously, like if that even happened, like seriously, you're surrounded by stupid people that even allowed you to do that 2 weeks before the draft.
All draft picks, Kevin, right? Their Twitter feed, whenever from the moment that their college career ended and they signed with an agent, if the agent doesn't tell them, delete every fucking tweet you have ever done in your entire life, and we are resetting it from 0. If you're an agent and you don't tell every draft pick that, like, isn't that malpractice? Because these kids, when they're like 15, 16, they're doing dumb shit. Like, you gotta hit erase on the Twitter feed.
What if he didn't tweet something like necessarily political or controversial, but was more like
dick pic?
Like, yeah, like either that. Either that or
Ooh,
just
dick
like,
pic.
hey guys, I already had COVID and it's really not that big of a deal. I don't see why everyone's getting the vaccine. I don't know. You know, something
Oh
like
yeah, like he was
Oh,
an
that's a good one, yeah.
anti-vaxxer.
like not really. Yeah,
Oh,
like
God.
just or like, you know, doing the whole Bill Gates routine. Like you shouldn't get it because you don't want to get microchipped. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think that would keep him from number one though.
You don't
I
think
think
so?
I think Urban Meyer would be like, we need to talk to Trevor about what he says on social media, and he needs to focus on football. But that's where we are. But we're still fucking taking him number one. Like I don't think being an anti-vaxxer keeps Trevor Lawrence from being number one.
I would agree with that. I think any agent has to doesn't just tell the player delete all your social media. I think the agent takes the person's phone, stands in front of them, and has them log into your Facebook, if you had a MySpace account somehow. These guys are young, so they probably didn't have MySpace, but run the gamut.
Tumblr.
Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, anything else.
Farmers only.
Whatever. And either outright delete the account or wipe every single thing out that you've ever tweeted in your life.
I gotta say, referencing MySpace feels more ancient than this '60s Saints movie.
It does. I
was getting ready to say, I was getting ready to say, ask them, have you ever used LimeWire? Don't admit to it.
MySpace is
Fair
like,
share.
I feel like
iMesh.
when you I feel like referencing MySpace is like people talking about sending a telegram or some shit like my parents did. They're like,
I feel like MySpace is more ancient than Napster.
My wife.
But by the way, this reminds me, since I mentioned Farmers Only. So Kevin, are you still, is your profile still up on any of the dating sites?
Yeah, have you removed yourself from Farmers Only now that you've scored a doctor thanks to it? You're a farmer fetish doctor.
It's like like when a house goes up for sale, like if it's under contract or it's sold, they don't just remove the sign and take it off the market. They just put the sold sign on there and they let everybody know, hey, this house is off the market. I don't know why they do that, but they just put the sold sign up there instead of just taking the sign away. But anyway, so do you leave yourself up there?
I think that's kind of like
that's
this thing's under
advertising
contract, but shit could still fall through.
Yeah,
well, no, but that's advertising for the realtor.
Well, exactly. That's why they do it. No, because there's two signs. There's an under contract edition that you can add to the sign, and then there's a sold sign. But anyway, so I'm just wondering if
again, it's advertisement for the realtor because you put out the sign saying it's under contract.
Yes.
And then within 2 weeks you've got, it's sold. Boy, this realtor worked fast. I should hire this realtor. And to answer the question,
I think we all know how this works.
So I'm wondering if you're still on there, but you've changed your profile status to
no.
date, in a relationship or something. You're just as bait for all the other single ladies out there.
No. So I deleted every single dating app on my phone and removed them.
Oh, it's a power move. That is a fucking power move.
I unsubscribed. What did I have? I had a subscription thing to Bumble. I canceled that.
Farmers only.
No. I canceled that. However, I still get an occasional email from OkCupid
that
still tells me. Oh yeah. I still get an email from OkCupid every once in a while saying somebody was interested in me. And then I think Bumble still sends one every now and then.
Plenty of fish in the water, Kevin.
But I just delete those emails. Like the apps aren't on my phone. I imagine my profile still exists somewhere.
And you just forgot the password. You can't.
So have you told her about the podcast yet?
Yeah, he did.
What?
Yeah, he told her.
I did.
Told her about the podcast.
They're playing
Yes. Yeah, I told her about the podcast before I told her that I before I said I love you to her, and
Well, I would
she
hope so.
still said I love you back, despite
here's the
knowing
pyramid.
Is she
of your
interested in
podcast.
listening? Is she interested in listening?
In the pyramid of Kevin bad decisions or questionable decisions,
She's not even
you
slightly
have,
curious?
yeah, like,
I don't
were
think
you
so.
more nervous, Kevin? Were you more
Well, that's a red flag.
more nervous about telling her you wrestled, telling her about the podcast, or telling her I love you? Like,
The
which one were
wrestling.
you more nervous about?
The
wrestling.
Good. I'm glad, Kevin. I'm glad you got your head on straight, because that's definitely the one I would be the most nervous about.
Well, yeah.
Wait, so she's not interested at all? You sure she hasn't gone home and tried to check it out or whatever? Like, she's not interested at all.
I'm pretty sure she hasn't.
I would be embarrassed.
She's extremely busy.
Maybe she doesn't love you then. She doesn't support your hobbies, Kevin.
That's true.
What's up with that?
She's not taking much interest in your life.
Yes. What's up with that, Kevin? It's a red flag. These are red flags.
She's an extremely busy lady. She's
busy not lady. Caring about Kevin.
Right. She could be
she
listening
communicates
to
if she cares to me.
She could be listening to podcasts while she's performing open heart surgery. They have time to listen.
There are ways. We have patrons that are doctors.
While they're in the OR. That's right. Balky listens to us.
Yeah. Thomas Fink.
So there was two possibilities for the main topic of this podcast, and I had Thomas do players the Saints shouldn't draft, but Thomas, no, we need to change that graphic. Clearly, the first 25 minutes of this podcast has proven without a shadow of a doubt this is the most boring offseason of our entire fucking lives, and certainly since we've been doing this podcast since 2007. Dave, this offseason is interminably horrible. I don't know how these teams like Cincinnati or these other teams that don't sign free agents and they lose all the time. I don't know how these fans do it. This has been misery. I was sad that the Saints didn't sign TJ Carey. I didn't even know who the fuck he was. And when I saw in the Discord that he was staying with the Colts, I got sad.
Well, I'll just say this. It's been a boring offseason when I've got the ventriloquist dummy on the podcast.
True. Facts.
Here's the thing.
We got an all Josh and Justin draft from Balky.
Fuck all y'all people.
What a terrific.
They did that. They were doing those last week during the podcast.
Oddly, Josh Fields is not on here.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is, Ralph.
I hate all of you. Y'all were doing these in the chat room last week just because I get confused about people's names. Justin, Joshua, Janet, whatever. It does. Janet. Things aren't picking. He's not going to be there at 28. It doesn't matter. But Kevin.
Yes.
I think this is the most boring offseason we've ever had for this podcast. And
just wait till the draft. It'll get better. It's going to get better. The draft is
but the draft isn't for 2 more weeks.
Yeah, it's true.
The most exciting thing the Saints did all offseason, the most exciting Saints thing is either Marshawn Lattimore getting pinched or Russell Wilson saying that the Saints were on his trade list. Those are the 2 most exciting things. That's a sad offseason. There it is. It won in a landslide. If you had a sad trombone, Thomas, you should play it right now. The Price is Right thing. But
Nick, the guy that sent us beers, Nikolai, he's a neurologist.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Chalk him up to the list.
Nice.
we have a cornucopia of rainbow of patrons, people that support us. It's doctors, we have lawyers, actors, gym, we have everybody supports the show, and you should support it more.
Sons of the head football coaches of the New Orleans Saints,
Yeah. Exactly.
We're about them.
Yeah.
We're not number 1 in Malta, we're number 2 in Malta this week. So Miguel, get your shit together.
Miguel,
and listen to the show.
You've been slacking on the downloads.
Miguel.
Yeah.
Get that VPN going.
Who are we number 2? Does it say who's number 1 in Malta?
Mina Kimes was number 1 this week.
God, I hate to hear that.
I hate to hear that.
God, I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that.
We did it already. Do. We don't. Yeah, I know. All right.
So,
God.
Before we get
Ugandan numbers, let's get a
before
Uganda
we
update.
get to
welcome to Uganda.
Before we get to actual football Saints news and that sort of thing, Thomas, jump in here.
What's up?
What is this fucking nonsense where in Poland, there's a city in Poland where 8 clams decide who gets clean drinking water?
Are they
I
bearded
saw
clams?
this on Poland, and I was horrified and delighted. It sounded like something that would either be in Louisiana or Texas. Yes, this
is like their groundhog. This is their groundhog bullshit.
So for those of you that aren't watching this live on YouTube, it says this is the tweet in Poznan, Poland. I'm sure I butchered that.
Poznan.
8.
Yeah.
Poznan. 8 clams get to decide if people in the city get water or not.
Right, and none of us read the actual article.
Imagine if it said 8 clams get to decide if 8 people in the city get die or not. If people in the city get to die or not.
So what is this?
So what is this? Yeah.
I'm assuming like the clams have the ability to, like scientists can tell the water quality based on what the clams do or whatever. I'm assuming that's the deal with this.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't
know.
Nobody read the article?
Not one of you read the article.
I can't say I clicked. No.
Read the article. People.
I'm gonna go
Dave, when I write a column for WWL, 80% of my email is just they look at the headline and they say, "I fucking hate you. I'm not reading this." Like that's no one reads.
I gotta find this article.
Reading is for suckers. All right.
The clams measure the toxicity in the water. Right. So if the clams stay open, the water is fine. If the clams shut, then the water is toxic.
I don't like that.
And then they shut off the water.
So what happens in Poznan if you can't drink the water? Then what do you do? Just roll with Perrier for a week?
I don't know. What happens if the clam...
You get bottles and you go down to well and you drink from there. It's fresh.
What happens if the clams have beards? Can you eat them?
Listen, I have no concept of whether or not you boil clam, whether it have beard or goatee, mustache, whether it have toupee.
Like sleeve of wizard.
Clam. It clam, man. I don't know.
Defend the honor of Poland. Don't let Kevin make assumptions and make people think that Poland is some third world backwater.
It is.
You ever claim
He's
that?
right. I don't like my country. I'm not like Monodula,
No, you're not.
I'm not
like
Monodula.
Wait, Ralph, pronounce this guy's name who in this tweet that responded to Thomas.
Dominique.
Yeah, pronounce that last name.
Kedersworski?
Isn't he also Polish?
Yeah,
I would think so.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say yes, Juge.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Kedzierski.
No.
Dominik Kedzierski.
Kedzierski.
That was the closest one, but not close enough.
So what is it? How do you say that?
Kenjirovski.
Kenjirovski. All right. Well,
yeah.
Kenjirovski.
Sounds like a kicker that Sean Payton drafted and cut in 2014.
Carpetta's a lot easier to pronounce, so you lucked out there. Thank your mom. Thank your dad for that.
That's a kind of Irish name.
Before people will get their fill of names that are hard to pronounce later in the show. But one thing that was interesting this week, and me and Kevin were actually arguing about it on Twitter, is they had someone release the win total projections in Vegas for the teams, and I gotta say, Andrew, like I look at the Saints and it's 9.5. I think when Thomas puts it on the screen, it'll be 9. I gotta say, even with the 17 game schedule, like 9.5 wins for the Saints. Like if it got to 9.5, I think I'd bet the under. Like I can't look at the Saints right today. Now they may do some more stuff. They may sign a corner. They may have a draft that we like. But right now, if the Saints win total is 9.5, I gotta bet under. A 9, I think, is like right at it. Perfect.
So they've been 13-3 the last 2 years,
And
and
13-3, 13-2, 12-4. Yeah.
so are you telling me that you feel like losing, and they've been 8-1 without Breeze? So what is it about the changes? I mean, is it just the depth? It's just you think that's worth 5 more losses?
I think the depth. I think the struggle at number. I think they have a gaping hole at number 2 corner, and we have seen 2014, 2015, 2016 when they have a problem at one of the corner spots. That's bad.
But you're living in this April cocoon of fear where
I am.
They haven't signed Richard Sherman. Although we know they've been poking around at him, and they're going to draft some guys to kind of help their issues and hopefully do a good job like they have the last several years. So
you're living in the past, man.
I don't know. I feel good about 10 wins. I feel like 10 wins feels realistic. I don't know if that gets them to the playoffs, but doesn't everyone make the playoffs now under the new CBA?
Well, they got 7 teams. I just feel like, Dave, jump in. I feel like the depth in the middle of the roster is very suspect, and I feel like they've been very fortunate in 1-score games the last 3 years. I feel like that is probably going to turn because over like a 4 to 5 year window, it just sort of all evens out. And Andrew, I just look at they are really fragile in spots. Like they can survive. They used to be able to you nuked the roster. They were so deep at even linebacker. As much as we hate it, they had Manti Te'o and Klein and Craig Robertson and all these guys. Yeah, they were terrible at certain spots against like the 49ers in 2019. But I just worry about like injuries. Like they can almost survive anything before this roster. I think if you hit them in a couple of spots, it could be bad. I just think,
I just think that's true of most NFL teams, though.
Yeah. Well, no, it is true of most NFL teams, but the Saints the last 3 years, they ain't been most NFL teams. They've been living in that high dollar elite fucking category where you knew the Saints were winning 10, 11 games and it didn't matter what fucking happened to them because they had the deepest roster in NFL. Now they're like everybody else. Things can go fucking wrong and they could be a 10-11 win team or they could be a 7-win team. And that's the difference. That's why the over under the last 3 years, I have pounded that over. Fucking pounded it. This year, I am at this moment uncertain.
I'm with you, Ralph. I mean, I don't actually gamble or bet, but I mean, if I had to put my money,
and yet says the guy who literally last time we talked to him was playing poker night.
Oh well, no, okay. Let me amend my statement. I don't bet on sports. I don't like on live sports. I love a friendly wager, playing cards or on the golf course. But if I was betting on the Saints over under, I'm with you, Ralph. I would take the under.
That's a great save, Dave.
There's too many X factors, and I mean, we don't have Drew Brees anymore, and who the hell knows what's going to happen at quarterback? This could really go poorly.
What do you think the chances are that Dave just doesn't remember the last time he bet on sports because he had too much to drink?
No, I mean the last time I bet on any sporting event would have been the last time I was in Vegas. Me and my buddies from New York, we went to Vegas for my 30th birthday, which was on 11/11/11. So we were in Vegas, and I think I bet on, I don't know, I think there was like a UFC fight that Saturday night or whatever. I bet on that and lost. It was over in like 5 seconds, which was annoying.
What, the UFC guy, Jean-Claude Van Damme St. Pierre?
I don't know. I don't remember who it was.
The guy that's UFC.
John St. Pierre.
Way down.
But
Kev,
no, I don't really bet on sports. I just don't.
Kevin, I like that. The 9 wins, like 9.5. I think it's right in it. Like it's right there.
So if you were betting on, let's see, if you were betting on the UFC in 2011 in November and you were there on the 11th, the main event you would have been betting on Cain Velasquez versus Junior Dos Santos. Does that sound familiar?
Cain won?
Dave,
I think.
Dave,
You're muted.
He barely remembers going to Vegas in 2011. He was blitzed out of his mind. And chemicals that he's put in his body since then. He probably can't even remember what hotel he stayed at, much less gambled on.
This was Vegas on my 30th birthday on 11/11/11 before I had a child. So no, I don't remember anything.
They say sugar toxicity has an effect on the mind.
Yeah, it's also
memory in particular.
100%.
Yeah, totally. But I don't even know if I bet on the main event. I think I bet on like some of the earlier fights. I don't know. I was at New York.
New York. Dustin Poirier. That sound familiar? All right.
That is disturbing.
Sugar toxicity apparently makes you look a little plasticky too.
Yeah. I can't. Dave.
I resemble that remark.
Dave is more committed to the ventriloquist bit than Andrew is committed to believing Kikaha was going to be a good player with the Saints. It is.
Speaking of running jokes into the ground.
Yes.
That's the worst joke I've ever heard. I like the new soundbite. That's the first time I think we've ever used that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I could keep up the ventriloquist bit for very long. It like really hurts my arm.
Too late for that now. You gotta stick with it.
That's what she said.
So before we get to the names that I can't pronounce draft and the questions, we have to talk about just for a minute Saints players that they would draft that we hate, because Thomas went out of his way to make a nice graphic, and I told him to put Mac Jones on there because I hate Mac Jones, and I know that there's a very slim chance that the Saints would pick him. But I have to say, if he would somehow fall to 28 like Aaron Rodgers did way back when, I would have cold sweats because I want nothing to do with Alabama Chad Henne. I don't fucking want it. Dave, you said if Mac Jones falls to 28 and the Saints don't fucking trade that pick to someone who really wanted a quarterback, you're going to kill someone.
I mean, that would be the ideal scenario, right? Somebody like that falls to 28 and you just... I mean, there's going to be somebody that would want to trade up and take him, right? Somebody's going to want to trade up out of the second round. I would assume.
Kevin, you might want to delete that tweet, Dave. I feel like that could come back to haunt you in 5 years.
Well, that's not a tweet. It was on Discord, so...
we saved those too.
Become a patron. Become a patron. You can get in the Discord channel. That's where we do all the fun.
That's where Dave talks
chatting.
about. Yeah, that's where Dave talks about killing people.
Who did I want to kill?
Anybody?
Anybody. Just someone.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
hey,
you weren't being very selective.
It's obviously going to be somebody in the Saints organization.
This is going to be played back in a court of law.
Might be Jeff Ireland.
Go ahead and play the podcast, Dave. Mr. Cariello, is this or is this not your voice?
I know, that would be like the
worst. I could see the judges going, bump up. Did you in fact say that you would kill someone over over the New Orleans Saints drafting Mac Jones?
That would be like the worst stroke of luck.
God, I hate to hear that. I hate to hear that.
College scouting department turns up murdered for some random reason, and they're like, "Oh my God, wait a minute, it could be this guy who's
prime suspect number 1, Dave Cariello."
That's right.
Dave's wife would be in the courtroom. She would be in the courtroom, just pointing her finger. I told you that stupid fucking podcast was going to ruin your life, and you never listened to me. Now everything is ruined, and you're like
Ralph ratted you
like
out,
Ray
Dave.
Liotta in Goodfellas. She's visiting you in the can.
I would make an Andy Dufresne reference, but I don't even think Dave's seen that movie.
No, I've seen Shawshank Redemption 20 million times.
Hey, Tomas,
Okay.
check the timestamp on that one.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
Oh shit, I clicked the wrong one.
We got too much shit going on. We got the real people talking. We got the sound bits of the people talking.
We got the
And then,
ventriloquist
and then you
talking.
pull a fucking ventriloquist dummy into the frame too.
This is peak
Dave's-
off.
Yes. By the
This
way,
podcast has a
release-
very June quality to it.
when we release our Saints Happy Hour NFTs, this one's going to be valuable because there's only going to be one podcast with a ventriloquist dummy in it. This one's going to be worth like $5,000. So you guys
my
better
God.
start saving right now. Y'all got that stimmy money?
I learned this week what Dogecoin was.
Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
I thought you listened to Pardon My Take. They're big Dogecoin guys. They probably made like $2 million this week.
Is Dogecoin like a cryptocurrency?
Yes, it's a cryptocurrency.
It's a meme coin.
I bought cryptocurrency. I bought Litecoin. I bought 6 Litecoin back in like 2017, years ago, and I just held on to it. And from the moment I bought it, it went down
Interesting.
immediately.
Sounds like yet another gamble.
It went, it went down immediately. And this week was the first time in 4 years that it was worth what I paid for it finally. And now it's back down again, by the way.
You gotta hit eject, Dave. Sell.
No, I'm in it for the long haul. I mean, it will be worth more, in 20 years than I paid for it. It's almost guaranteed.
How many people thought
check
their
the
retirement
timestamp on
savings?
this.
Yeah, how many
I
people
can't-
thought their
I don't
retirement
know.
savings were guaranteed prior to the 2008?
I don't know. Is that you, Kevin, talking, or is that?
I
soundbite?
love that soundbite Kevin is talking over actual Kevin.
Yes.
That's pretty fantastic.
And now Kevin's
We're
frozen.
through the looking glass now, people.
The looking glass or the looking grass, Ralph?
I glass probably.
Kevin's with
I'm
us
off.
in audio. He's just frozen in video.
He's frozen.
Man, hey Thomas, can you like Photoshop like a penis like into his mouth right now? Please tell me. Do we have like a telestrator or something where you could
Go
like John Madden, like a
Go
penis
to
or
full
something?
John Madden.
Holy shit, this show is going off the rails
See,
fast.
what we got here is a Kevin Held. And what Kevin Held's gonna do is he's gonna take the penis.
Gonna take it long. Gonna take it hard.
Have you guys
He's
ever
committed.
seen that old video on YouTube of Michael Vick
Kevin's
where he's
back.
like, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna watch Michael Vick take a dump. Have you guys ever seen that video?
Yes.
No.
It's so good. You should watch that. If you do one thing tonight, watch Michael Vick takes a dump. It's like a
Alright.
spoof John Madden thing. It's really funny.
You gonna get us back on track here, Ralph, or what?
it's like a June podcast, Dave. There's no getting back on track.
You know,
We are in the ditch and we are on fire.
At this point, you might as well save the draft of people Ralph can't pronounce till next week. Shit.
No,
that's
fuck no.
That's a great segue.
That is a great segue.
There you go. You're welcome.
So Thomas, do the draft. So we're gonna fire it up. So this is an annual thing, and for people that think this draft is not realistic and these players will never become Saints, the guy who was drafted number 1 in 2017 is now a Saint. Kai Passafaw, the defensive end. Oh, that is
Passanio?
Passanio. That shit is mean, Thomas. It says names Ralph can't pronounce, sponsored by Josh Myers. You go to hell. You go to hell. I'm gonna ship you a box of nickels to Poland to pay you
Sponsored by
for
Josh
April.
Fields.
By Josh Fields.
So we're running the mock draft simulator.
I did
PFF.
appreciate that one of these guys has the first name Josh. That's a nice touch.
Just
So we'll
mean.
give. That's like
So
that's
we're
like when you're
running-
playing bingo and you get the middle square for free. We gave you Josh for free there. You got to figure out the rest.
Now, I gotta say, while I love this, the magic of Ralph mispronouncing names is not to give him names that no one can pronounce correctly, which would be the case with all these. And it's more like you're just garden variety, like Akeem Hickses of the world. It's those that that Ralph pronounces that make it truly special.
Well, and also I think we should put a disclaimer on this, like, whatever countries of origin or nationalities any of these players are, we're sorry. We're not trying to be offensive. We don't even know anything about it. We're just laughing at.
The only person that knows anything about these players is Andrew.
Yeah.
Yeah, the joke is Ralph, not you.
Jeremiah Owusu Koromora. He's.
Did you just blow it? You just gave it away.
Doesn't matter.
Ralph ain't gonna repeat that.
You say it 8 times.
No
I
way
still get it wrong.
Ralph's not repeating that.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing I want to say. Alvin Kamara.
He still can't even say that right. It's Kamara. You can't.
But his mom says it Kamara. He says it Kamara. So like tomato.
Wait,
I'm just saying.
Kamara,
y'all make.
Really?
Yeah, like you say I get it wrong. But
your mom
like
says Kamara.
Okay,
but as we go
Commissioner, make the first pick.
So.
Oh, you'll love to hear it.
So the first guy, and this guy really he excites me, scares me the whole bit. Jeremiah Owusu Koromora. Andrew, he could be there at 28, right? Like this is a legitimate person that the Saints could pick.
He's not going to fall that low. But
what position does he play?
I'm disappointed you passed on Josh Fields, Ralph.
Wait, what position does what position does Jeremiah?
He's a linebacker and a very good one.
God no, God no. Yeah, he was good until the Saints drafted him.
Yeah.
I don't know how do you pronounce this Owusu? There's a hyphen in there, and you went past the hyphen,
right?
And you put the K from the second half of the hyphen, and you moved it over to the front half of the hyphen. It's amazing that you could do that. You have a talent.
Yeah, your mind is special.
I think it's pronounced Owusu Koromora.
That's right.
Okay.
Owusu Koromora.
Jeremiah Owusu Koromora.
All right.
Here's the thing. For the second round pick, do we go like they have like Jason Owe? I feel like if the Saints drafted him, I could call him Jason Owen for 5 years. So like that's a possibility.
Wait, are you seeing that on this list?
No, I'm saying I'm running the mock draft of PFF. I'm running the
No, the second team still has time. Don't worry.
Are these players from Uganda? Is this like your sneaky way of like getting us number one in Uganda?
Yeah.
I mean, we think about it.
They figured this out.
So who's the pick, Ralph?
All right. This one scares me to death.
Oh, you even got the Jets fans booing.
I got because
we deserve to be booed.
Hamsia Nasser Al-Din, like, and
I'm wondering if it's an eyesight. It might be an eyesight issue with Ralph, to be honest with you. I don't know. Maybe he's
got Jameis Winston's eyes.
He's adding syllables.
Yeah. How do you see Hamsia? It's
It's
Hamza.
Hamza.
Ralph, how do you pronounce my last name?
Carriello.
All right.
But
remember the first 3 years of the podcast you were on, we were calling you Carrillo.
Right.
The thing is, Dave, you know what it is? I panic when I'm trying to read the name, and like instead of just pausing and not adding a syllable, like Hamza, like now that I see it, but like when I pause, I'm like and I just like drop in like something that's not even there because I'm panicked.
Interesting.
Okay.
Our good friend Sean Fox, he would always call Jahri Evans, and when I'd be on a show and he would say Jahari, I would respond to his question and I would call Jahri Evans Jahri, and he would go right back to Jahari. Like it was
the famous J. Rue Holiday, right?
Okay.
He wasn't picking up when you were
That-
laying down.
Oh, J. Rue. I forgot about J. Rue. What
The
a
third
amazing
round-
reference.
The third round guy.
You guys remember that when Kevin called Drew Holiday
Yes.
J. Rue?
Yes, I forgot
Oh,
about that.
that was amazing.
That's going to be
Good
an
times.
expensive NFT too.
That was very Ralphie of you, Kevin. J. Rue Holiday.
The third round guys, they scare me because they have a bunch of corners that the Saints could take. Because they have Elijah Molden. That could be fun because it's the son of Alex Molden. So the odds of me calling him Alex, Kevin, like they're off the board in Vegas, right? Like he'll be out if he's good, bad, whatever. He'll be Alex Molden until 2027, right?
We are not drafting the son of Alex Molden. No.
You're
No.
telling me
Next you're gonna try pushing the nephew of Kevin Casebeharn or something.
Dude, this makes me feel so old. So you're telling me Joe Horn's kid is in the draft. Alex Molden's kid is in the draft. We just signed the son of JJ McCleskey. And
Asante Samuel.
And Jameis 1 of 1 is desperate for us to sign Brett Perriman's kid.
Yeah.
So, I mean, God, I feel old. Saints Twitter's right. I am old.
But
My
this
God.
is another guy, Andrew, play the chime, Thomas, because the pick is in. I beat you, Mellophone Woo.
That's probably as close as you've got.
Yeah.
Mellophone Woo.
My guess would be Ifiatu Mellophone Woo. Or
Yeah.
Mellophone Woo.
I Fiatu, yeah. It's definitely not I feat you.
I feat you.
Why is it not I feet you?
Because it's
Ifiatu.
Ifiatu. Mellophone Woo.
Mellophone. I could almost see it being Mellophone Woo.
Mellophone Woo.
Mellophone Woo.
But another guy, Andrew, that the Saints could potentially.
There's no way they're not taking him, Ralph. Just for you.
Oh my God. Fuck.
I mean, these all sound like players that where their families come from countries in Africa, right? I mean, these are all
definitely
African names.
Well, I don't know. That name almost sounds Polynesian or Samoan.
At the end. Oh yeah, you're right. You could be right about that. Yeah.
We already have a Mellophone in the league. Maybe it's his brother.
Yeah, we do.
Really?
Yeah. There is already one. Hamza Nizrul Deen could be Muslim, no?
Yeah, I guess that.
Habibi.
Or just like Indian, Pakistani, or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The next guy in the draft.
Oh wait, hang on. Wait. Let me interrupt you, Dave. I want you to guess where Ifiatu Mellophone Woo is from.
Uganda.
No, is he? Is he from Uganda?
No, he's from Boston, Massachusetts.
No, but his family.
Welcome to Uganda.
his family, like obviously his heritage, his background, his family comes from somewhere, but he grew up in Boston. No, I would assume most of these guys grew up, in the States, obviously, but their families come from, wherever.
Well, I'll try and find out and get back to you.
Yeah,
The next
I would
guy
guess,
on the draft.
Well, we want to draft a guy with a Ugandese background because then that helps our rating chances.
Yeah, we want to be number one, and
we want to
this
increase
guy,
the interest.
The fourth guy is somebody that the patrons in the chat in the Discord are really excited about, and they have people that say if the Saints draft this guy, they will buy me a jersey. This guy, Josh Amatator Bahibi?
Ralph can't say anyone's name right.
Thank you for joining us, Sean. Thank you. It's an honor to have you on the show, Coach Payton.
Yeah. We're getting
muted, Dave.
We're getting our $500 worth out of Cameo.
I would say Josh Imator BB.
Imator baby.
Imatorbhebhe.
Imatorbhebhe.
Okay.
So,
Josh.
so
that's my favorite. Imatorbhebhe.
I got to jump back.
I'm not her baby.
Melifonwu, he has a brother, Obi Melifonwu, who plays for the 49ers.
Yeah, he's a safety, right?
Okay.
The parents, Igbo Nigerian. So not Ugandan, but Nigerian.
Okay.
Close enough.
So what? So that is an African name also. It's not.
Yes.
Pacific Island.
Nope. I was off. You are correct, Dave.
All right. Well, look up everybody else. I'm curious to know about everybody else too.
And
Thomas, move Imatorbhebhe.
Imatorbhebhe is a receiver.
Okay. Well, we could use him for sure.
Yeah.
Is he any good though, Andrew?
I mean, Rosevoglu interviewed him or something, so now he thinks he's like the best sleeper in the whole draft.
Of course.
The final pick can be. We should have mixed in like a regular name like Quinn Martin or something to just throw a curveball.
Bob Smith.
But the last one, play the chime, Thomas, where the pick is in. This guy's name, he might have should be Kevin, the number 1 pick, because he's got so many. I mean, I don't even know. Adet Okunbo, Agun Digi? Deli? No, it's a J.
A gun?
I was going to say
Deli. A deli. Ralph's getting hungry.
Yeah, I am. I mean, that name number 5 is a nightmare. Like, they'll have to, like, Sean Payton will have to create like a nickname for that dude because that'll be hopeless.
Yeah, that's a Who Man situation.
Kevin, you like the Irish? Is he any good?
That's gotta just be Ogundeji, right? Ogundeji.
I don't follow the Irish like I used to.
Matt says the receiver Josh Odomai posted a 46.5-inch vertical jump. So he's got
I posted a 46.5. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
So that's that's the 4-round mock draft of names Ralph can't pronounce. I am, in all seriousness, I'm really scared because I look at the Saints' desperate needs this year, and they are filled at positions that they need: corner, linebacker. They are filled with guys of names that I have no fucking prayer of pronouncing. And I think they're going to, like, one of those guys that we did just now, I think there's a really good chance that the Saints are going to pick one of those. Like, Andrew, am I right about that? That this year is a prime quality year for names that Ralph can't pronounce at positions the Saints need.
I think this is as strong of a chance this year as any.
I'll wear the Bebe jersey with pride if the Saints pick him and the patrons want to. I'll wear it with pride. Yeah, this is the thing too. Whenever they said whenever somebody mentions Notre Dame linebackers for the Saints, people think of Manti Te'o and the dead girlfriend Kevin. But whenever people mention the Saints and Notre Dame linebacker to me, I think of Courtney Watson and disaster at linebacker.
Both were disasters, and yeah, I couldn't tell. I don't know the last. Who was the last Notre Dame player that really stuck out in the pros?
Not Elise Mack, I'll tell you that much.
When was the last time the Saints? What's a good Notre Dame player for the Saints?
A good Notre Dame player, not Irv Smith.
Dave Waymer, he was good.
Oh, he was real good. Dave Waymer went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, it was a
Forgot about that.
long fucking time ago, though.
Yeah. Irv Smith.
Mm,
He was mediocre at best.
I feel like Ditka drafted Notre Dame, but he drafted all slow white guys, but he never plucked anybody from Notre Dame.
Wasn't
Quentin Nelson? Quentin Nelson.
Wasn't Derek Brown from Notre Dame, the running back?
No, he was Nebraska.
Oh, he's Nebraska.
Quentin Nelson is from Notre Dame.
Oh, Ray Zellers. That's who I was thinking.
Oh, Ray
He
Zellers.
was trash. He was trash. He was trash.
So, Thomas, fire up the music and let's get to some of these questions.
Love embrace.
All right, Thomas, hit us with the first question.
Okay, so I start with a bang from Twitter. First question is from Maradula, who loves Netherlands. Have restaurants being closed hurt the Saints in acquiring any free agent talent?
Oh, interesting. No.
That's Dave's question.
That's ridiculous. And first of all, restaurants here in New Orleans, I mean, any restaurant that survived the last year and the pandemic, they're open. I mean, I got to admit, New Orleans, Louisiana, New Orleans, I won't say all of Louisiana, but New Orleans has been doing pretty well with the vaccine, or, I think, it's widely available now. Anybody that wants to get it can get it. And things are opening up, but so no, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
All right, let's see.
What next?
Next question from Discord, from Christmas. If Morten Andersen attempts an NFL comeback, will Roger Goodell suspend him for 4 games for that musical travesty you guys keep playing? Or will he do the right thing and make it the whole season? I gotta turn it up for a second.
I mean, Morten Andersen played many, many, many years after this song came out in the NFL, so I don't think anything would happen now.
I feel like Take It to the Top has become more famous with us replaying it. It's kind of like
right.
It's like
You're
Don't Stop
welcome.
Believing by Journey. It wasn't that big in the '80s, and then it became huge and a big wedding song.
Well,
I feel like that's kind of happening right now.
Here's the thing that I can tell you why we're making it. We're making it as big as it's ever been. Is YouTube literally gives us a copyright strike for every graphic Thomas puts up. And we've been doing Take It to the Top for how many months now? Not
a year,
one time have we got a copyright strike for Take It to the Top.
We got a copyright strike when I sang Poop in My Fingernails.
That's correct. We did. We got a copyright strike for Poop in My Fingernails.
You've already talked about it too much.
Right.
They're gonna strike this show.
Yeah, it's a strike.
Okay,
right,
so
Tom.
next question is from Balky. Mickey has clearly started going to YOLO GM's Anonymous meetings this off-season. Which of the 12 steps is he on now? What will it take for him to fall off the wagon?
Well, the first step is admitting you have a problem. So I don't think he's gotten past that. I don't think he got past step 1.
I think we officially need a clip of someone talking about how Loomis has lost his balls if and when he doesn't trade up. That's when you get really worried. If the Saints don't trade up in the draft and they kind of mailed it in free agency, then it's time.
Oh yeah, I think clearly, Kevin, you got to. The trade down is just that he's completely
anti-YOLO.
He's completely anti-YOLO.
What's
like,
the opposite? What's the opposite of YOLO?
Yeah, the opposite of YOLO.
Like fight to see another day, live to see another day.
You have 9 lives. I don't know.
Yeah.
No balls.
Yeah, no, I don't know. If the Saints trade down, I would definitely probably call 911 and have them check his apartment to see if he's like tied up and gagged in his apartment somewhere, and somebody else is making the decision.
Kevin, if the
for the-
Saints,
And then the very next thing you would do is turn Kevin into the authorities.
That's right.
Kevin, Kevin, if the Saints would trade down, does it even matter what they get? Will you just be excited no matter
Yeah.
what it is?
Yeah.
Like, even if they move down like one spot and they get like a 7th, you'll still be super pumped, right?
Yeah.
What if they trade down for Adrian Peterson's son?
Ooh.
How old is Adrian Peterson?
Yeah, Adrian Peterson's son is probably not draft eligible.
I don't know.
even know
I'll
if the kid plays-
take Adrian Peterson's son in his current state. I mean,
He's like 12.
he's probably gonna be awesome.
He's probably like 12, right?
Yeah, sign him up.
Can't be any worse than the linebackers on the roster not named
I'm ready.
Mario Davis.
Look, I'm ready to give Arch Manning the reins to the. I'm ready to give him the keys to the car.
Oh, the opposite of YOLO is NOLO. I got it. NOLO.
All right. All right,
This is
Thomas.
the NOLO off season.
It is.
Okay, next question. Speaking of trading down, guys, this one is from the Wicker Man. What's more likely, moving up in the first round or moving up in the second round? For me, I think moving up from 60 makes a ton of
Nobody
sense,
asked-
but
No.
all everybody talks about is moving up from 28.
That's a
I
good
thought-
question. They do.
I thought
They
Thomas
do that.
was giving his answer. I didn't realize that was part of the question.
They do that.
I was-
It's a
I was
question,
getting-
though,
I was-
because they do it a lot.
I was getting ready to tell Thomas nobody asked you, and I was like, oh, no, he's still reading the question.
You're like, know your place, Thomas.
Hey, Tomas, check the timestamp on this.
Yeah,
it's a good
I think that's a really good point. Because I don't think the Saints have a ton of ammunition to move up from 28, but they do have a lot of third round picks. And the thing about 60 is I do think there's a slot between 33, right when the second round starts, and about 48, where there's a ton of talent. And I believe the Saints would love probably a lot of guys that fall in that little window right there. So I could
Here's
totally
a
see it.
question for you, Andrew. We know they have a gaping hole at corner number 2. So
Gaping hole.
let's say it's a gaping hole. I mean,
It really is.
it really is.
Oh
So
my
let's
God.
say
Aptly described.
let's say they select Kirimoa, the linebacker from Notre Dame, at
He's
28.
not falling to 28, but okay.
That sounds like
he
somebody
falls
that could really fill a
28.
gaping hole.
He falls to
I love
28.
how he didn't even bother with Uwosu. He just
No.
flushed
just-
that down the toilet.
No, I'm not even going to
Just
touch
going-
that. Kirimoa. They pick him at 28, but they still have the giant hole at corner. So what's more? Do they go? Do they move up from 60?
I think they
Is
would.
it more likely?
I think so. If they can find the right corner that they believe could be a starter for them, then yeah, they'll pull the trigger. I
You
do.
got to fill the hole.
The what hole?
If,
What kind of hole?
if it's gaping, it seems like a
You got to fill it.
yeah.
Ooh, that's big. That's big. It's not even puckered at all.
Oh, I'm glad.
how-
Kevin-
Like the close up, Thomas. This is why we have a producer. This is why we have
Right.
a producer.
yeah.
Worth every nickel we give him.
With every nickel, the finest meats and cheeses
Mm-hmm.
that we can
Charcuterie.
find.
Charcuterie.
All right, Thomas.
What next?
Okay, last question. We had tons of questions for this week, but this is the last one from Jason Champagne. I barely managed to fit it into the graphic.
Thomas couldn't
What?
fit it into the gaping hole.
Into the gaping hole, yeah. What would be the bigger draft day nightmare? 1. The Saints trade a first, a second, and a third for Mac Jones, and he ends up being another Steve Walsh. Or 2, the Saints stand pat, take Zayvon Collins, and he ends up being another Stephon Anthony.
Well, at least if we
The nightmare is that
Zayvon
question
Collins,
in 9 different parts.
I mean, at least if we take Zayvon Collins and he sucks, we still have the second and the third, right?
Yeah.
And we're not starting him at quarterback, so this isn't even close.
No, this is a no-brainer. Yeah, the first situation is way worse. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I just want to say another Steve Walsh is especially bad because Steve Walsh was just mediocre enough to make sure that the Saints won enough games to ruin the draft pick.
Yeah. Here's my thing is with Saints this year in the draft.
Steve Walsh, by the way, Steve Walsh would have been the perfect quarterback for Fisher, the old Rams coach.
Yeah.
Jeff Fisher.
Say what you want about Steve Walsh. He won more playoff games than Bobby Hebert. Saying it.
He didn't win a playoff game.
Yeah, he did. He won
with
a playoff
the
game
Cowboys, right?
With the Bears. No. With Dave Wannstedt.
Yeah, that's right.
They went to Minnesota, won a playoff game, and Bobby Hebert was 0 for 3 with the Saints and 0 for 1 with Atlanta.
0 for 4, yeah.
Yeah. So, but Kevin,
that 2015 draft was terrible.
Yes, it was. It really was.
Oh.
I mean, it's unspeakable sadness.
Yeah,
it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they would have been almost better off just packaging everything for one guy, or just not making picks at all.
At least Ralph's still making Kikaha jokes, though.
It is.
They got.
Is that 20? What's the draft where they picked the linebacker that had narcolepsy?
Kyrie Fort.
Yeah, was that 2015 or was that earlier?
That was 14.
No, Kyrie Fort. That's not 2015.
No. He's my You know what though?
Davis Tall, wasn't he in that draft class?
Yes.
Jethro Tull.
Davis Tull, Tyler Davison, Damian Swan, Marcus Murphy.
Marcus Murphy.
Marcus Murphy ran a punt back for a touchdown.
Tyler Davison, 2 E's in Tyler.
Tyler Davison was the best pick in that class, and it wasn't even close.
Oh my God, that is so sad.
Relay.
Here's the draft. They need to move if the NFL loved us, Andrew, they would move the draft back to the middle of April. This shit of the draft being at the end of April is.
I totally agree.
It is off. Like we need the draft in the middle of April because we got 2 more weeks of the draft. Next Monday we'll be able to do next Sunday night we'll be able to do the big draft, the final mock spectacular, where we try to maybe make it the year of Kevin, where we try to predict what the Saints will do a trade down, trade up, and that's really fun. But like, I get that the NFL, like the draft is this huge thing and they want to like stretch it out and I guess suck up more time. But I just feel like it doesn't seem like it's that long, but stretching it out even a little longer, like it just makes it interminable because there's nothing left to fucking talk about. Like we've run all the players through the fine cones. We've done 9,000 mocks. We talked about them. Unless players start getting arrested, killing people.
Well, that's coming. We still got 2 weeks where that's the only thing to look forward to is the dude that gets arrested.
And the police still have to investigate the mushroom farm that
that's right.
Trevor Lawrence was growing.
I don't know if it's Trevor Lawrence. If you see his artist brother, his brother looked like he eats shrooms by the handful.
Well, where do you think he gets it from? When you've got a free shroom connection at the old farm.
Runs
the
in
old
the family.
shroom farm.
Runs in the family.
Yeah, when your bro runs the old shroom farm.
The shroom farm. So this wraps up. I want to say I bought a new soundproof panel to make my giant room smaller. We invested in that. Thanks, patrons. It's foam. It's around me. It's walls. I won't turn my camera around so you see it because that'll just be a disaster because I'm crippled and that'll go badly. But we got that. You know, we got Kevin. Kevin's. Oh, look at his brother.
His brother looks like a guitarist in like
Mudhoney.
Yeah, yes, exactly. It's great. It's perfect.
They look like the really, really dark They really when Hanson went through the dark period.
Yeah.
They experimented with death metal.
Mudhoney. Yeah, dude. That is the bassist for Mudhoney, dude.
Wow. Bop gone wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, Allman Brothers or Leonard Skinner. No, what the hell?
Wait,
I was thinking of
look at these two winners right here.
Leonard Skinner. I think is more appropriate.
Oh no, those two guys. Those two guys are running a pot shop.
That dude, no, his brother. That dude knows how to pollinate mushroom spores for sure.
The dude on the left is a youth minister that thinks he's really cool, and everyone fucking hates him because he doesn't bathe.
So which one is Walter White and which one is Jesse Pinkman?
What's his brother's name? His brother looks like his name would be Fuzzy.
I would love to see him throw a football.
His brother,
yeah.
I think that. I mean, his hair is longer than Trevor's.
It is,
and also not as well conditioned.
Yeah, I like it.
He's looking very metally in that picture.
I mean, my whole thing with Trevor Lawrence is like you could literally swap him out for Edie Falco, and you could never know the difference. You could never know the difference.
Is that a Mickey,
I mean, that's
Mickey
Edie,
Mouse on his?
That picture. That's a picture of Edie Falco and her two sisters.
It is.
That is Edie Falco and her two sisters and her
Tony,
niece.
stop cheating on me. So this is my favorite.
This was a good podcast. Timestamp.
It was.
Tomas, check the timestamp on this one. Don't play.
Hey Tomas, we're gonna check the timestamp on this.
Too late.
This one is gonna get us an award. This one we're gonna submit for the awards.
This was
for the potties.
This was like the podcast.
The potties,
like,
yeah.
If like I had a friend who was like, "Oh, I want to listen to one of your podcasts," I'd be like, "All right, listen to this one. This one's pretty good."
Yeah.
You don't have to you don't have to love the Saints to enjoy this one.
If you like dummies,
can we even talk about the Saints in this podcast at all?
Even if you like weed.
If you're into the art of ventriloquism.
Yeah. So Thomas, fire up the music. We gotta wrap this atrocity up. So everybody, thanks for joining us. Thomas, I'm sorry again. I butchered the intro again. I forgot to mention, follow us on the YouTube, subscribe, rate us, review us, wherever you get your podcast. Become a patron, support the show. It allows us to do amazing live streams like this with Thomas producing back in Poland. He did an amazing job. His graphics were amazing tonight. Thanks, Thomas. Worked really hard on the names Ralph can't pronounce. Draft graphic. I appreciated it. Get that ventriloquist dummy off of my fucking screen. It creeps me out. I'm gonna have nightmares. So for Andrew, for Dave, for Kevin, for Thomas, running the show like a champ back in Poland, I'm Ralph. Until next week, the bar is closed.
Gaping hole.